Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City's Thursday, April 13th, 2023 docket. The board is hearing a mixed docket of some regular items and violations. And do you have any opening comments, Mr. Chair, or should we just
No, let's get started.
All right. Then the first case on today's regular items is Epic Lounge Bar Cut Rate LLC, trading as Epic Lounge Bar and Cut Rate. Premises are located at 2711 East Fayette Street. Holders of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and this is a request for both a hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-2202 for 180 days, and a request to reopen under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-2203, wherein a licensed premises has been closed for at least 3 consecutive months. Is anyone here for that case? Oh, it's apparently the only one that hasn't checked in, but the board.
Let's hold it, see
Okay.
if they show up. Okay, let's go to the second one.
This matter will be held to a later portion of the docket. Bringing us to item number 2 on today's docket, Linden Bar and Liquors Incorporated, trading as Linden Bar and Liquors, 904 to 08 West North Avenue, holders of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and a request for a 180-day hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-2202.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Previs on behalf of the licensees. Chang K.M. is to my immediate right. This is a 180-day hardship request. The Linden Bar and Liquors on North Avenue, its property was taken by eminent domain as part of the Amtrak tunnel expansion. It's apparently going to be a work yard there. So the premises closed. Its last day was November 30 of 2022. We most respectfully request an additional 180 days in order to be able to transfer the license to another location.
Okay, commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
None.
All right, thank you. On the basis of your letter of March 21, 2023, and your proffer this morning, I vote to approve a 180-day hardship transfer extension.
Based on the matter before me, I approve 180 days hardship extension. Is this hardship? Hardship extension. That's it.
Based on testimony and letter from the attorney, I also vote to approve the request for a hardship extension of 180 days.
Thank you.
Ms. Russell?
No, it's for the record.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board.
We have the next one too.
Calling the next case then. Item number 3 on the regular docket, CNY Enterprise LLC, trading as Mount Vernon Liquor. Premises are located at 815 to 17 North Charles Street. Holders of a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, and this is a request for a 90-day transfer hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1705B.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Previs on behalf of the applicants. So this is Chapter 2. When the Linden was closed, the family purchased the Mount Vernon Liquors at 815-17 North Charles Street. We had a hearing. We are still getting the final checklist items completed and requested a 90-day hardship extension in order to.
So you're going to move the license?
Move to, no, the license.
This already has the license.
Yeah, Mount Vernon Liquors already had a license. He bought a going concern. So the other license will be sold.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis then of your letter of March 21, 2023, and your proffer this morning, I vote to approve a 90-day transfer hardship extension for this license.
Based on the proffer given here today and letter submitted, I also approve a 90-day request for a transfer hardship extension of 90 days.
Based on the testimony and letter from the attorney, I also vote to approve the request for a transfer hardship extension of 90 days.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you
Russell.
very
No,
much.
it's for the record.
And that
Thank you.
concludes this matter before the board. Calling regular item number 4, 2900 O'Donnell Street LLC, trading as Trade Name Pending. Premises are located at 2900 O'Donnell Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and a request for a 90-day transfer hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1705B.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I'm joined here by Brian McGlory, the licensee applicant. Looney's was purchased and has continued its operations. A use and occupancy permit has been issued, and it's pending a trader's license. The management agreement was extended, so Looney's is still operating under the previous licensees.
So you're asking for 90 more days.
Yes, 90 more days, please.
Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
Okay, all right, thank you. On the basis of Ms. Hecker's letter to the board of March 20, 2023, and your proffer this morning, I vote to approve a 90-day transfer hardship extension for this license.
Thank you. Oh,
Based on
sorry.
the letter submitted and the proffer given this morning, I also approved a 90-day request for transfer hardship extension.
Based on the testimony and letter from the attorney, I also vote to approve the request for transfer hardship extension of 90 days.
Ms. Russell?
Elizabeth for the record.
Thank you.
I'm assuming our court reporter might need your name.
Oh, absolutely. Drew Tilden of Rosenberg Martin Greenberg.
That concludes this matter before the board. Shall I move forward, Mr. Chair?
Please.
Item number 5 on today's docket, Apla One LLC, trading as Maria D's. Premises are located at 1016 Light Street. This is a Class D beer and light wine license and a request for a 90-day transfer hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1705B.
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensik representing the licensee. She's required to stay at the restaurant, and one of her employees didn't come in today, but she's very close to finished. BG&E required some additional work because the people who were there for a long time, she's a new owner, we're just about done, and sales tax people, so we're gonna need, probably done within the next 30 to 60 days, but we'll request 90 days.
Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis then of your letter to the board of March 16, 2023, and your proffer this morning, I vote to approve a 90-day transfer hardship extension for this license.
Based on the letter received and proffer given here today, I also approve the request for transfer hardship extension of 90 days.
Yes, based on the testimony and letter from the attorney, I also vote to approve the request for transfer hardship extension of 90 days.
Russell?
Thank you.
Elizabeth for the record.
Thank you. Good luck.
That concludes this matter before the board. Shall I move forward, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Item number 6 on the regular docket, Feed the Scene Foundation Incorporated, trading as Sidebar. Premises are located at 218 to 20 East Lexington Street. Holders of a Class D beer, wine, and liquor license, and this is also a request for a 90-day transfer hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1705B.
Morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the applicant, Rachel Taft, who's here to my right. I'll save the time of having her sworn in. This is the basement at 218 East Lexington Street, once famous Sidebar. A lot of work needed to be done and still needs to be done. There have been delays with electrical issues and contractors. There's been a sewage issue with Public Works, with taking care of the building. There's been mold remediation. It's just these older properties have a lot of work to do, so we're asking for those 90 days. Thank you.
Commissioners?
No questions.
No question.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fogelman, on the basis of your letter to the board of March 27, 2023, and your proffer this morning, I vote to approve a 90-day transfer hardship extension for this license.
Based on the letter submitted and proffer given by the attorney here today, I also approve the request for a 90-day hardship extension.
Based on testimony and letter from the attorney, I also vote to approve the request for transfer hardship extension of 90 days.
Ms. Russell?
Elizabeth for the record.
All right, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Shall I move forward, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Item number 7 on the regular docket, City Escape LLC, trading as City Escape Bar and Lounge. Premises are located at 2213 to 15 Kirk Avenue. Holders of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and this is a request for a 90-day transfer hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1705B.
Good morning, Your Honor. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of Terry Jefferson and Cameron Jefferson, who are standing to my right.
Good morning, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sent you a letter and the board regarding this request. There are still some, I believe there's some final tax issues involved to get the paperwork straight, but I believe they have a use and occupancy permit in place, and so they're very close to the finish line. So we appreciate this extra time.
Commissioners?
No questions.
No question.
Okay. Excuse me. Struggling with a bit of a cold today.
I know.
Excuse me. On the basis then of your letter to the board, Mr. Fogelman, of March 27, and your proffer this morning, I vote to approve a 90-day transfer hardship extension for this license.
Based on the letter submitted and proffer given by the attorney here today, I also approve a 90-day request for a transfer hardship extension.
Based on the testimony and letter from the attorney, I also vote to approve the request for transfer hardship extension of 90 days.
Thank you all.
Russell?
Elizabeth for the record.
That concludes this matter before the board.
Mr. Glenn, do you want to go back to the first one?
I don't know if anyone's here, but I will call it, Your Honor. Is anyone here for item number 1, Epic Lounge Bar Cut Rate LLC, trading as Epic Lounge Bar and Cut Rate, 2711 East Fayette Street? Do you want me to call the case entirely?
Well, let's, do we have service on it, Ms. Russell?
Yes, you have service.
Well, unless they show up by the end of the day, we'll just pass it to the next.
Okay. So then we'll move into the violations docket.
Please.
All right. Moving into the violations portion of the docket. Violation number 1, Acrostic Enterprises Incorporated trading as Southern Provisions. Premises are located at 3000 to 3002 O'Donnell Street. Holders of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Charged with 2 violations of the board's rules stemming from a single incident on January 21st, 2023, to wit, a violation of Rule 3.12, General Welfare, and a violation of Rule 4.16, Illegal Conduct.
Your Honor, please, Frank Schullis representing the licensee.
Good morning. Are you going to admit it or deny the violations?
I'm sorry.
Admissions or denials?
I have to deny it, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, let's swear everybody in.
You raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Inspector Tudhope?
On 1/21/23 at approximately 10:09 p.m., a 311 complaint number 2300542272 was received for 3000 O'Donnell Street at the establishment known as Southern Provisions for disturbing the peace, loud noise, front door open. I, Inspector Tudhope, arrived at approximately 11:56. I parked outside of the establishment and got out of my car and found that I could not hear any music. I walked to the side and determined their outside speakers were off. So I returned back to my car to close down the 311 as unfounded. As I was getting in my car, I heard shouting, and when I looked up, there was people being pushed out of the front door. I then returned to the establishment and made contact with the security guard. Upon making contact with the security guard, I looked inside and could see that it was heavily overcrowded. I asked the security guard for a count. He said there were 83 people downstairs and 30 people upstairs. I then proceeded inside and did a quick count and counted approximately 120 people inside. I then came back outside and asked him again what his capacity was, and he said it was 90 downstairs and 30 upstairs. I went inside again. It was shoulder to shoulder. People were very close together. I did another quick count, got approximately 120. I couldn't make my way to the bar or to the side room to count what the number of people were in those areas. I went back outside and asked to speak to a manager. At that time, the manager, Mr. Ben Pratt, met me on the side of the building. I explained that he was over capacity and I would like to see his liquor license and his fire permit to determine his capacity. He then suggested we take the side door as it would be easier to get upstairs. I proceeded upstairs with him. Upon going upstairs, I did another quick count and was about at the same number again. I did determine that his capacity was 90 downstairs and 60 upstairs. He was within capacity upstairs. He had approximately 60 people upstairs. Upon determining the capacity, I informed Mr. Pratt that he would be receiving a violation for being over capacity and left without any further incident.
You have questions for the inspector?
Yes, I do. How long were you on the premises?
Probably about 15 minutes, sir.
15 minutes? And you observed the disturbance at the front door and outside
Yes, sir.
the sidewalk? And the people from downstairs, were they coming down to look at the disturbance?
The stairs for the upstairs are on the complete other side of the building, sir.
The other side of the building?
This was at the front door.
And then there's a side door,
Yeah,
but it's only about 35 foot back, right?
yes, but we couldn't go through the building because there were so many people inside. We had to go around to the side door to go upstairs.
And that's when the disturbance was happening.
No, the disturbance happened when I had gone back to my car and I was about to leave, and I heard people shouting
I-
and pushing each other right at the front door.
So you came back in and all the people were on the first floor, mostly, as
There
far
was-
as you could
There was
tell.
approximately 120 people on the first floor and 60 people on the second floor, yes.
Well, when you went to the upstairs,
Mm-hmm.
how many people were up there?
Approximately 60, sir.
And that's after you observed everything downstairs?
Yes.
Well, how did you count them?
I counted heads, sir.
And all these people are moving around constantly?
Yes.
Were they
That's
going-
why it was approximate count, sir.
Okay, and also, did you check with the security people there as to their clickers?
Yeah, he stated there was 83 people on the first floor and 30 people on the second floor.
And that was two separate security people?
Nope, it was the same security guard.
Excuse me.
That's all I have.
Did you have a question, Commissioner?
No.
Yes, for clarification, Mr. Chair, looking at the report, it states here that the capacity was 90 on the first floor, but it was 120 and 20 on the other side. I just want confirmation, so the total was 140?
Approximately 140, excluding the bartenders and the people that work there, yes, sir.
Okay. Did you want to present testimony?
No.
Okay. Do you want to make an argument?
Well, my argument is that with people moving around, with the capacity upstairs and downstairs, people coming down to see what's going on, then going back up, I can see it would be crowded. People flock to any kind of disturbance. And we have security there. They look at the place, they click them in, and I just don't think it's possible to get an accurate count. And also, as Commissioner Reisinger pointed out, there seems to be a discrepancy in the capacity, 60 or 30. One time it says 30 upstairs, next chart says 60 upstairs. So I don't know which it is, but I don't believe that they were overcrowded.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
I have a question now. Just for the record, can you restate your you count twice, didn't you?
Yeah, I
Can
counted.
you restate both those counts, please?
The first time I counted 120, and the second time I counted around 124, but it was approximate, sir. And it wasn't the section on the side that I guess there was about 20 people inside there.
I'm good, thank you.
Anything else?
Just that it's an approximate count.
I understand. All right. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, testimony received, arguments from counsel, find a violation of Rule 3.12, General Welfare, on January 21, 2023, and a violation of Rule 4.16, Illegal Conduct, on January 21, 2023. This licensee has had it since 2016, has no prior history of violations. I understand that their counting may not be an exact science, but you were over downstairs by her account, and I trust her. So you got to be careful about that. I'd impose a $150 fine as to each of those and give you 30 days to pay. Commissioners?
Based on the testimony given by the inspector, I also find a guilty plea for a violation of Rule 3.12, General Welfare, on January the 21st, 2023, as well as violation of Rule 4.16, Illegal Conduct, on January 21st, 2023. On violation of Rule 3.12, I assess a $150 fine. And on violation of Rule 4.16, also,
The fine?
excuse me?
Same fine?
Yeah, same fine for, I'm sorry. Also, same fine for Rule 4.16, illegal conduct on January 21st, 2023. So that's 150 for each.
Yes, based on testimony and materials provided today, I agree with the chair's findings, a violation of Rule 312, general welfare on January 21st, 2023, with a fine of $150. Also, on violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, on January 21st, 2023, which is a fine of $150.
Okay, Ms. Russell?
I'd like to call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Inspector Tudhope. Board Exhibit 2, service request summary dated 1/21/23. And Exhibit number 3, building fire and related codes of Baltimore City.
Thank
Okay.
you.
You may have seen that the legislature increased our authority to up to $20,000 for a fine, so $150 is not bad. Okay.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council has received instructions on how to pay the fines that were imposed by the board today and any attendant fees that are required along with them. Shall we move forward?
Please.
Mr. Chair? Violation item number 2, the Avenue K&B LLC, trading as the Avenue Kitchen and Bar. Premises are located at 911 West 36th Street. Holders of a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license and are charged with one violation of the board's rules, to wit, a violation of Rule 4.17, storage, stemming from an incident on November 25th, 2022.
Good morning, Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the licensee.
Admission or denial?
It is an admission.
Okay, you want to explain?
Yes, thank you very much. This was a learning experience. Ali Sahin, the general manager, is present, as he was on the date that Inspector Clark met with him. He had put out full outdoor bars for events like Hunfest and the Mayor's Christmas Parade, and this happened to be Black Friday, the shopping holiday, and it was very cold outside. He put out a hot chocolate and coffee stand. A couple customers asked him if they could spike them. So, like I said, he had a bottle of cognac and a bottle of whiskey out there. Not aware they needed to do that. I do believe he got his trader's license issue straight. And he's had very much a learning experience that he's not allowed to have alcohol outside as even the miniest of mini bars without some kind of permit. So.
Agent Clark, can you be sworn in, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
So, was he cooperative with you?
Yes, he was very
Did you
cooperative.
get the driver's license fixed?
Yes, I have to go back and do a re-inspection to look up to see if the 22 trader's license is in effect.
But
Yes.
otherwise, everything's fine?
Everything else is fine.
Okay, commissioners have questions?
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, the proffer from counsel, including the admission of the violation, I find a violation of Rule 4.17, storage on November 25, 2022. This licensee has no history of violations, so I'm going to impose a $150 fine and give him 30 days to pay. Commissioners?
Based on the information received in the charging document, proffer given by the attorney, and testimony given by the inspector, I find for a violation of Rule 4.17, storage, which occurred on November the 25th, 2022. And as a result, I fine the owner $150.
Yes, based on the testimony and materials provided today, I agree with the chair's findings, a violation of Rule 4.17, storage on November 25th, 2022, and a fine of $150.
Ms. Russell?
Like those exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Agent Clark.
Thank you. Good luck, sir.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council's received instructions on how licensee can pay the fines imposed by the board today and any attendant fees that go along with that. Shall we move forward, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Item number 3 on the violation docket, MDJ3D Entertainment LLC, trading as Larry Flint's Hustler Club. Premises are located at 18 Custom House Avenue. Holders of 2 licenses issued by the board, one a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and the other a Class AE adult entertainment license, and are charged with 3 violations of one violation of the alcoholic beverages rules and 2 violations of the adult entertainment rules, all from the same incident on January 27th, 2023, to wit, violation of alcoholic beverages rule 3.12, general welfare, violation of adult entertainment rule 3.05, incorporation of liquor license rules and regulations to applicable licensees. Same incident on January 27, 2023. And violation of adult entertainment rule 3.18A2, illegal conduct and codes compliance from the same incident on January 27, 2023.
Mr. Previous, you representing him?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Peter Previs on behalf of the licensees. I most respectfully request a postponement of this matter. Chief Inspector Chris Amalis had contacted me and indicated that the premises was closed and was having trouble serving the licensees. I told him I would gladly accept service, which I did. Someone came by and dropped off the papers. What I didn't know is that my clients are on an extended vacation in Utah and are not present here, and I didn't know that until this morning that they would not be back.
Is it closed?
It's closed, and we would agree to remain closed until the next hearing.
So when can we hear the violation?
Can't be we could move it to the first week in May and do it at the beginning of a docket if.
Okay, with the understanding that the license will be, that the operation will be closed until then, we'll grant the continuance.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can we confirm that at least one of the officers is available that day before we schedule it for
Sure.
that?
Yes. Can you work that out with Mr.
Yes,
Previs?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Then this matter will be postponed until a future hearing of the board, most likely the first hearings in May.
And Mr. Previs?
Yes.
You should talk with Mr. Blendy about that case between now and then, okay?
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Sir, did you want that property posted as closed till? the
That's
hearing
fine,
date?
yes.
All right, the property will be posted as closed until the hearings are held.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Good.
Great.
Okay. Shall we move forward then, Mr. Chair?
Please.
Item number 4 on the violations docket. Wendy's Bar Incorporated, trading as Basantio Cafe Bar. Premises are located at 4616 to 18 Eastern Avenue. Holders of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and are charged with several violations of the board's rules stemming from incidents over different days. The first charge, a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct for being over capacity, which is a violation of the Building, Fire, and Related Codes of Baltimore City, Section 108, Maintenance, as in the International Fire Code 108.6, on January 27, 2023. Charge number 2, a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct for the exit door, which is a violation of the Building, Fire, and Related Codes of Baltimore City, Chapter 10, Means of Egress, as in the International Fire Code 1031.2, Reliability of Egress. Same date of incident, January 27, 2023. A violation of Rule 4.14A, live entertainment without authorization, stemming from an incident on January 27, 2023. A violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare, stemming from a different incident on March 4th, 2023. Those are the charges.
Mr. Fogelman, we're going to have admissions or denials?
We are going to have 2 admissions here, the first 2 for both 416, and then denials as to 414A and 3.12.
All right,
Thank you.
let's swear in the inspectors.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Did you want to address the admissions at all before we go on to the?
Sure, I'll be very much happy to. So they've admitted to the overcapacity. The capacity at that time was 40 persons, and I think the inspector counted 66. Yep. So, for every violation, there's got to be a proposed cure. And for this violation, I was very happy that my client got some self-help. She already had the fire marshal out there yesterday and paid her fee, and they are expected to issue a new capacity certificate of 60 persons. Of course, 60 is still less than 66, so
Still has to count them.
But right, that will help, and additionally, they will have security keeping tabs on the comings and goings of customers with the use of hand counters. So they're confident that the overcapacity issue has been or will very shortly be resolved.
All right, who wants to address the live
And then
entertainment?
with respect to the with the respect to the lack of exits, they understand. They're going to make sure that security keeps 2 exits open and accessible at all times. Thank you.
Who's going to address the live entertainment issue? Inspector Tuttle, I think you're already under oath, so.
On January 27th, 2023, at approximately 10 p.m., I, Inspector Tudhope, along with the Baltimore City Task Force, which includes the Baltimore City Vice, Baltimore City Fire Marshal, and Baltimore City Housing Inspectors, and the Baltimore City Health Department, conducted an inspection at 4216 Eastern Ave, known as Byzanzo's Cafe Bar. The task force attempted to enter the front door, but found that it was locked. We then went to the side door on Newkirk and was able to enter the building. At this time, we counted 66 people inside. I also observed a DJ playing music from a booth. A task force made contact with the owner, a Miss Claudia Castro, as identified by her driver's license. Upon review of the establishment's licenses and permits, it was determined the establishment had a capacity of 40 people, and the establishment did not have live entertainment on their liquor license.
Okay. Mr. Fogelman, you have questions for the inspector?
Thank you very much. Inspector, did you get identification from the alleged DJ?
I did not.
Okay. Did you ask any questions to the alleged DJ?
I did not. I just
Okay.
took a picture of it.
All right, it wouldn't surprise you if the DJ was in fact a bartender, an employee of the bar, right?
It would surprise me because he would have to walk around the whole bar to get to that DJ booth, so it
But-
wouldn't be very practical for a bartender to be standing there.
All right, and you indicated there was a laptop present?
A laptop with a spin table, and he had a microphone, and was
And-
playing through amplified speakers.
Right, but at no point did you see the microphone being used?
Not at the time I was there, no.
And you are aware that there were YouTube videos on a television screen?
I did not look at the television.
Okay. And you don't consider yourself a DJ, do you?
No,
But occasionally you have a playlist maybe, or Spotify that you use?
yeah,
All right, and when you dial up the music on your phones, you're just doing that because that's how people listen to music these days, right?
it is true, but I don't set up a DJ booth for myself to play music through. so-
Very well. Thank you very much, Inspector.
Anything further?
With respect to live entertainment, I'd just like to be heard.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. This is something that seems to be becoming more and more a common misunderstanding for licensees and authorities, quite frankly. The examples of live entertainment under the board's rules, disc jockeys performing with amplified microphones and equipment, and similar activities. So with respect to that, the bar and many, many other bars that I know of, they play music through a laptop now, through a playlist like Spotify. And you got to press a button to make the music happen. You've got to press a button to start a new album. But you don't have to get on a microphone, and you don't have to say Feliz Cumpleaños, Diana. That crosses the line. I know where the live entertainment line is crossed, but I would, in some of these cases, I don't think they've come up to that line. There was evidence that there was a microphone there without evidence of it being used. So then the question becomes, again, if I'm saying, hey, happy birthday, or let's do, let's all participate in some kind of a game, it's clearly live entertainment. If I have a microphone and at 1:45 I say, look, last call, you got to go, is that live entertainment? I would say absolutely not. I'd say it's sort of a public service and safety announcement. So what we have here is music. What you'd hear, Ms. Castro testifies, is that the so-called DJ is employed by the bar and serves as a bartender, and in that particular case was servicing the music. So it may be that the presence of a microphone by itself, strict liability, constitutes live entertainment. I don't agree with that assessment, but I am grateful for the board's time thereon.
Okay. Agent Perez, on the next violation?
I'm here for the March 4th
Yes, yes, we want to address that, please. Unless the commissioners have any questions? Up
No
there?
questions, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Agent.
March the 4th, 2023, I'm sorry, Agent Perez, Baltimore City Liquor Board. March the 4th, 2023, at about 10:50 p.m., I received a call from Chief Chris Morales instructing me to respond to 4616 Eastern Avenue, known as Bizantio Cafe Bar, located at about 11:05. I arrived at this location and observed a crime scene cordoned off by BPD officers between the 4600, 4700 blocks of Eastern Avenue and 400 block of South Newkirk. While at the scene, Chief Chris O'Malley informed me that an altercation between a bar patron and an unknown individual had occurred just as a few steps from the bar side door, facing Newkirk Street. The victim in this case has sustained a large cut to his forearm. A blood trail was observed at the location. I interviewed the licensee, Ms. Gloria Castro, regarding the incident. She informed me that she was not present at the establishment at the time of the incident and had arrived short moments after it occurred. The information that was provided to her by her staff is that the two parties involved had a verbal argument inside the establishment, and the suspect, in this case, had left the location prior to the victim. Short moments later, the victim stepped outside, and that's when the assault occurred. I further asked her if she would be willing to provide video camera footage to the BPD detective for their investigation. She stated that they were already obtaining so. I further asked Ms. Castro if the security staff were hired by her or if they were contracted through a third-party security company. Ms. Castro stated that the security personnel were services contracted from Halal Protective Services, LLC. A copy of the agreement and security plan was obtained from Ms. Castro and forwarded to Chief Chris Morales for review. While at the scene, BPD detectives found 3 shell casings within the 400 block of South Newkirk. Video footage obtained from a nearby business showed that about 6:25 p.m., a red Dodge pickup truck drove past the establishment. The driver of the red pickup truck pointed a handgun out the front driver window towards the 2 security bouncers working at Bizantio Cafe Bar. The gun could be observed firing. However, no one was struck. This incident is believed to be isolated from the current incident explained above, and no motive or information was provided to me during the course of this investigation. It was determined that the security bouncer or the establishment manager failed to report both of these incidents to the police department. At about 12 a.m., BPD and BLOC staff cleared the scene with nothing further to report.
Questions for the agent?
Very, very briefly, first of all, Inspector, you or someone from the board contacted licensee Castro, standing to my right, when you arrived. Isn't that right?
I got
By
there after the
telephone?
fact. Not me.
Not you. Okay, but she did show up within 15 minutes or so of you guys
She was
arriving.
there, when I got there, she was there already.
Yeah, okay, great. And she was cooperative in answering all of your questions
She
at
was.
that time? Okay. And I've seen the video of the drive-by shooting, and you're not violating the bar based on a drive-by, or on a drive-by that was not reported to police?
Just the fact that the violent incident was not reported to police.
Right. Can you point to me something in the law that says that all licensees have to report any violation of law that they witness outside of the bar?
This happened directly to the bar. The bar staff were the victim in this case.
Even though they were outside of the premises?
Yes, standing right by the door.
All right, and how then did the police even find out about this incident?
They found the shell casings on the curb.
So what brought them there to look for shell casings in the first place?
At the cutting incident.
The current incident?
Yeah.
The cutting incident, I'm
cutting
sorry.
incident.
Yeah, okay. And so they happened to literally, luckily, find shell casings at that time?
Yes.
Okay. And, yeah, I think that's all. Thank you very much.
Okay. Did you want to present testimony on this issue?
Not necessarily.
I'd like to hear from the chief
Certainly.
inspector briefly.
Thank you.
Did you have an opportunity to review the security plan?
I saw the security contract that they have with Allah Protection Services. She has been informed multiple times that they are not a licensed, insured, or bonded company. I know she's told my agent that she was gonna look for other security. As of recently, they are still on the premises, which is okay. She can, I just explained to her that if they're not a security company, all their actions are she's gonna be responsible for all their actions, because at that point, they're employees of her bar. So she's aware that they are not licensed to operate in the state of Maryland as a security company. And we're gonna have more information on that, Chairman. And she's gonna get notification. We're gonna have a training seminar at the library next Thursday at 5 p.m. for all the area bars to talk about this exact issue. But both incidences weren't reported, and that's why I had Agent Perez investigate it, because it is a violation of public safety when there's shots being fired at a bar that is opened and operating. It's a public welfare issue.
Yeah, just to reiterate the rule, should there be any confusion or concern from the board, Rule 3.12 General Welfare reads, licensees shall operate their establishments in such a manner as to avoid disturbing the peace, safety, health, quiet, and to promote the general welfare of the community.
All right, do you have any questions for the chief inspector?
Very briefly, and everything you said is correct, although I just want to point out that it was you who, in fact, requested a written security plan from the licensee, correct?
No, I asked, Agent Perez told me that anytime you ask the security if they're a security company, they say the owner says no, they work directly for her. They're employees of the bar. And I know that that's not what she thought was happening. I truly believe she thought she was hiring a licensed security company to provide security services. So I asked Agent Perez to get me a copy of the contract between her and the security company, which she did have a signed contract, which I have forwarded to the state police that regulates the licensing of security companies.
Right.
I didn't ask for a security plan. I asked for the contract between her and the fraudulent security company.
Well, and so it's fair to characterize this as maybe a misunderstanding between the licensee and Halal Protective Services, right?
Misunderstanding in which way?
As to in fact what they're actually doing for her?
Well, they're providing security services.
Right.
But they're not licensed to provide security
Yet
services.
they claim, as you saw on there, which I forwarded to the board, that they say they don't, they basically try to pass the buck on this.
To her, right.
Yeah.
But she has been made aware of this, so it's her responsibility to change action if she doesn't want to be responsible for their actions.
Very well, thank you.
I have just one question. So if there are security at the door, how does someone walk out the door and get stabbed?
That is an excellent question. There are two, and I guess, well, I'll wait till we get into the cure on that. But they had security at the door when somebody fired a shot at them, but I don't know.
Well, I
how
understand that the guy drove by, fired shots at him.
Right, but I don't know how security didn't intervene quicker in the first incident.
So when I interviewed the security guard, he did state, after a while, after denying he saw anything, he did say that he saw the incident and actually chased the suspect down Eastern Avenue, but didn't catch him. But then he failed to call 911 to get medical attention for the person that was stabbed.
Okay. Did you want to be heard?
Yes, very briefly. I mean, in an MOU, it's very clear. It says you've got to call the police if there's any illegal activity witnessed. This is, this general welfare and public safety, they're the biggest catch-alls I've ever seen, under the law. And avoiding disturbing the peace would mean, don't let your customers fire guns. Don't let your customers have a knife fight in your bar. But as far as specifically having to contact law enforcement, I don't think that's clear to all licensees. That said, it's clear to her now. I mean, it's clear as far as always report to police anytime you see any weapon on the street, in your bar, anywhere. It's just one of those things that in the heat of the moment, in the time where this is going down, it might not have been common sense or second nature to her, and it certainly will be going forward.
I just want to make this comment. So in the environment in which she's operating, which is incredibly dangerous, where there are people who are carrying weapons, where there are people driving by with guns and whatever, she's got to be really scrupulous about the way that she operates her place if it's in that kind of an environment. And it may not be her fault that the world's like that, but that's the world she's operating in.
And it's very
and we
much
can't have establishments where this kind of thing goes on a regular basis. So
Absolutely. And it is clearly a learning experience here.
understood. Commissioners have any questions?
None.
No question.
Do you have anything further, Mr. Fogelman?
Just to let you know that indeed they've got, they've got 2 security guards placed at each of the doors. And this written security plan was developed in the wake of this incident. And so now they have something to explain to anybody who works for them in any capacity of security what is expected of them that's on this document. And then one other thing, going back to the live entertainment allegation, the overcapacity allegation, there is no testimony whatsoever that on that March 4th incident, even 2 of them, that there was a DJ there, that there was overcapacity or locked exits. So they clearly had ameliorated the prior violation allegations on that secondary visit. So they consider that a learning experience.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, the testimony received, the proffer from counsel, which included admissions of 2 of the violations. I find a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, on January 27, 2023, a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, on January 27, 2023. As to each of those admitted violations, I'd impose $100 fines on them. As to the Rule 4.14, live entertainment without authorization violation, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, and I would vote to dismiss that violation. As to the violation of general welfare on March 4, 2023, Rule 3.12, I'd find her in violation, particularly for the failure to operate the place in the way that we want it operated, with reporting promptly of incidents like this. And she's got to straighten out the issues with the security company. I'd impose a $500 fine for that violation. And I do these because she's had the license since 2011. She's only got 1 prior violation, so I'm giving her a bit of a break. So it's a total of $700, and I'd give her 30 days to pay. Commissioners?
Based on the proffer given by the attorney and the charging documents, I too also fine for a violation of Rule 4.16 for illegal conduct. I'm going to assess a $100 fine on that. I also fine for a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct. It's a $100 fine for that. On violation of Rule, also fine for a violation of Rule 4.14. I'm sorry. Violation of Rule 4.14, I'm going to dismiss that. And on violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare, on March the 4th, 2023, I'm going to assess a $500 fine for that violation.
Yes, based on the testimony and materials provided today, I agree with the chair's findings, a violation of Rule 416, illegal conduct over capacity with a fine of $100. Also violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, the fine of $100. Violation of Rule 4.14A, live entertainment without authorization. I agree with the chair for dismissal. And violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare, March 4, 2023. $500 fine.
Thank you, Ms. Russell.
All right, call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Inspector Tudhope. Board Exhibit number 2, violation report, Agent Perez. Board Exhibit 3, security plan.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Fogelman. Good luck, ma'am.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council and the licensee will receive instructions from this agency on how to pay the fines imposed by the board and any fees attendant to the fines that must be paid also. Shall we move forward, Mr. Chair? Moving on to violation docket item number 5, Orion LLC, trading as Orion's Pub. Premises are located at 53 to 55 South Crescent Street. Holders of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and are charged with 3 violations of the board's rules stemming from the same incident on March the 10th, 2023, to wit, a violation of Rule 4.18A, alterations, a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct for charcoal hookah, and a violation of Rule 4.14A, live entertainment without authorization.
Thank you, Your Honor. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the licensees, admissions to alterations and hookah, and a denial as to live entertainment.
Okay. Do you want to be heard on the admissions?
Yes, very briefly. The whole day is full of learning experiences here. I've known these guys for a couple of years. They run a pretty good shop. That having been said, I told them, if you just called me, I could have told you that if you're going to knock a wall down in your bar, that you need to write a letter to the liquor board, send us some plans, and technically get our approval. But notice sometimes is 95% of it, and they didn't give notice to the liquor board, so they understand that that is indeed a violation. And they will not be doing that ever again. As far as the hookah, that's another unforced error. That place has been around so long that they used to do hookahs there prior to the Maryland Clean Indoor Air Act of 2009, and they literally just decided on a whim that they would try that. There are other products available. There are e-hookahs now. There are electronic devices that are permitted in bars under city statute, under city ordinance, and so there will not be anything burning in the establishment in the future. So,
and is your argument on 4.14 the same as in the last case?
It's exactly the same. In fact, it's almost even more dramatic because they play one YouTube channel in the bar, and it's called DJ Adonis. And it is a DJ on YouTube. And he can't hear you, and he's not really there. And as my client said, DJ Adonis ever visited your place? And of course, he hasn't. They couldn't afford him if they wanted to or had authorized live entertainment. As far as anybody on the mic, they are not aware of that. Like I say, if the mic was used to tell everybody to leave or announce last call at 1:30, I wouldn't consider that live entertainment. I am telling my clients, though, that until we resolve this, that it's best to just get rid of the mic. The rule specifically says mics and amplified equipment. So if you don't have a mic, and what's an amplified mic? An unamplified mic. I call that a pen or a hairbrush when you're doing karaoke in the mirror. So get rid of the amplified mics if you're not a DJ, if you're just having these videos on the computer. It's so confusing because it's so similar to a jukebox in the sense that people do have to hit play from time to time. They have to shuffle through to get the next song or the next album they want. But that's my argument there, is that there was not a DJ as in an independent contractor that was hired for an event. It was an employee of the bar who was just part-time, occasionally changing music. So,
well, wasn't it Inspector Tudhope who observed, or was it you, Agent?
We were together.
So what did you see?
Just like in most cases with this type of establishment, when you first walk into the door, you will see someone actively playing music, mixing. When they see our presence, they play a random mix and they walk away from the DJ booth. That's what I witnessed in this particular location.
So you think there was a DJ?
I believe so.
Okay. Did you see anything different, Inspector?
No, sir, I observed exactly what he does. They usually step away and go sit at the bar when we arrive, when we go to places.
Did you have questions for them?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioners have any questions?
None.
All right, do you want to be heard, Mr. Fogelman?
Yeah, very briefly. Every mic is amplified, even this one. And live entertainment, maybe my definition, maybe even my daughter's generation has a different definition of what constitutes that. There's so many great entertainment avenues available to us on our phone, on our laptop, and when I think of live entertainment, I think of a magic show. I think of somebody saying happy birthday, of encouraging people to dance, and I don't see somebody changing music around, even putting on vinyl as live entertainment. And even if somebody scratches the vinyl, I don't consider that live entertainment of any kind. And in this case, again, we don't have any actual testimony that a live microphone was in use. And that's where we definitely crossed the line, as I said in the last case. So I'd submit with that, and thank you.
Okay. Commissioners, anything else?
No.
All right, on the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, testimony received, the proffer from counsel included admissions of the first two violations. I find a violation of Rule 4.18 small a, alterations on March 10, 2023, a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, charcoal hookah on March 10, 2023. They have no history. No, I'm sorry. They do have one violation, I believe, on their record from back in 2020. I impose $150 fine as to each of those two violations. I'm going to find a violation of Rule 4.14A based on the testimony of our inspector and agent. I'll impose a $100 fine as to that. So that's a $400, and I give them 30 days to pay. Commissioners?
Based on the charging documents and the testimony given by the attorney, testimony given by the inspector, I also find for a violation of 4.18 parenthesis A, alteration on March the 10th, 2023. Going to assess a fine of $150 for violation. Also a fine for a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal contact on March the 10th, 2023. Going to assess a fine of $150 for that. Also a fine for a violation of Rule 4.14, parenthesis A, live entertainment without authorization on March the 10th, 2023. I will assess a fine of $100 for that.
Okay. Based on the testimony materials provided today, I agree with the chair's findings of violation of Rule 4.18A, alterations on March the 10th, 2023, with a $150 fine. Also in violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, charcoal hookah, on March the 10th, 2023, $150 fine. And also the violation of Rule 4.14A, live entertainment without authorization, March the 10th, 2023, with a fine of $100.
Mr. Russell?
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Agent Perez.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good luck, gentlemen.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council and licensees have received instructions on how to pay the fines imposed by the board today and any attendant fees that may go along with them. Shall we move forward, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Violation item number 6 on today's docket, Gus's Bar Incorporated, trading as Gus's Sports Bar. Premises are located at 501 South Lehigh Street. Holders of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license and are charged with 2 violations of the board's rules stemming from the same incident on March the 5th, 2023, to wit, a violation of Rule 3.12, General Welfare, and a violation of Rule 4.14A, live entertainment without authorization.
Good morning, Mr. Commissioner. My name's Christine Alcon, and this is my husband, Gustavo Alcon. We're the owners of the bar.
Good morning. Can I ask you to raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
So do you understand that you have 2 charges of violations?
I understand it to be 1. I didn't know there was 2.
There are 2. And do you want to admit or deny them?
I'll accept them because I don't know what they are.
Okay.
General welfare and live entertainment?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to give us an explanation of what was going on March 5?
Yes. Because we are new owners, The previous owner that we purchased the bar from, they taught us everything. So we made sure that we had all the licenses that they had. She had told me that they do karaoke once or twice a week. And all the equipment that we have in the bar was with the sale when we bought the bar, all the karaoke equipment. So we just continued to do what she did. We didn't know that it was considered live entertainment.
Did you have a lawyer when you took over?
No, we can't, oh, when we took over, yes.
They didn't explain that you have to have a special license for live entertainment?
No.
Did you tell them what you were going to be doing there?
We just said that we were going to continue doing what a previous owner did.
I understand. Okay. Do you want to add anything else?
Due to our ignorance and not knowing, we would have had a license. Now, since we got the notice about this, because we can't afford a lawyer, we are a small business, we only have a capacity of 40. We're lucky if we get 30 people coming in, and those are just friends and neighbors. I did do a lot of investigating to find out about a live entertainment permit. I called the liquor board, and the person who answered the phone said I have to call zoning, that they couldn't give me any information. I said, I didn't know that karaoke was a live entertainment. He said, call zoning.
Depends on how well you sing.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. It is a part of the license that we can grant, but you have to make an application through the liquor board to add it to your license.
Well, I want to do that, but I'm a little confused because I did, doing a lot of investigation, I got an application from Baltimore Housing, and by filling out the application, it says on here, if you have a liquor license, you will be required to apply to the liquor board for live entertainment. But when I called, they're telling me to go to zoning, so I don't know what to do.
I don't know who you spoke to, but that was a mistake. So when we're done here with all of this, you should, Mr. Bundy, will you be able to talk with them?
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain what they need to do?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll explain all that.
That would be great.
Agent, were they cooperative with you?
Yes, they always are.
Thank you. We try.
Commissioners have any questions?
None.
All right. I'll note for the record that you've only had this since 2021, but this is the first time that you've been violated, so we'll be quite lenient, but I'm going to find a violation of Rule 3.12, General Welfare, on March 5, 2023, on the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received. Also going to find a violation of Rule 4.14A, Live Entertainment, on March 5, 2023. I'd impose $50 fines as to each and give you 30 days to pay. Commissioners?
Based on the charging documents and testimony given here today, I also find for a violation of Rule 3.12, General Welfare, on March the 5th, 2023. Also, I find for a violation of Rule 4.14, little a, live entertainment without authorization, on March the 5th, 2023. For both violations, separately, I'm finding $50 per violation. That's a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
$50 per violation.
Go ahead.
Yes, based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings, a violation of Rule 3.12, General Welfare, on March the 5th, 2023, of a $50 fine. Also in violation of Rule 4.14A, Live Entertainment without authorization, on March the 5th, 2023, with a $50 fine.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit
Please.
1, violation report, Agent Perez.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Licensees are going to receive actually, you can take my card. That'll be easiest. Then you don't have to wait around for me. That concludes this matter before the board. Licensees have received instructions on how to pay the fees imposed by the board and any the fines imposed by the board and any fees attendant to that. Shall we move forward, Mr. Chair?
Okay.
Are we good to move forward,
yes,
Mr. Chair?
please.
Yes, sir. That brings us to Violation item number 7, Amigos Bar Incorporated, trading as Amigos Bar. Premises are located at 400 South Eton Street, holders of a Class D beer, wine, and liquor license, and are charged with 2 violations of the board's rules from the same incident on February 17th, 2023. And that's a violation of Rule 4.05A, prohibited hours, and a violation of Rule 4.05B, prohibited hours. And just so the board commissioners understand, I charged each of them because they, depending on the fact pattern that you may hear today, you may find one, you may find the other, you may find both, you may find none of them, but I wanted to be clear not to miss anything.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the licensees. As Mr. Blendy mentioned, I think probably it's my job to admit to the A, but not the B. The B is the service after hours, right? B is the service after hours. A is the open after hours.
Is that why you charged B?
Yes, Your Honor, I wanted to not have someone come say the other thing was the thing we did, not the one you charged. So you could merge them or do whatever you see fit, but that is the logic that I use, Mr. Chairman.
All right, well, let's hear from the chief inspector on the B event. Go ahead, please.
On February 17th, at approximately 2:13 hours, a 911 call was received to BPD for Amigos Bar located at 400 South Eaton Street operating after hours. The patrolman in the sector asked for a liquor board representative to respond to the location with him. I arrived at approximately 2:20. Myself and the officer could hear music and people inside the location. The front door and the side door of the establishment were both locked. We knocked loudly on the doors, identifying ourselves as BPD and BLLC. The music was shut off, and we could hear bottles being thrown in the trash. We could also hear individuals running up steps. Approximately 5 minutes after we began knocking, the door opened. Once we entered the establishment, we observed several beers on the bar and approximately 10 males, 2 females, one being Miss Maria Rivera. Did I say that correctly? Sorry. Identified by a Republic of El Salvador passport, who stated she was the manager. I asked the manager why she was open well after 2 a.m. when she had a 1 o'clock license with no response. We were able to use a BPD translator over the phone. I asked the manager to get the people that ran upstairs so that they can exit the building, and she stated there wasn't anyone upstairs. Realizing that my main goal was to leave the establishment and everyone had exited safely, I told the manager that she would be receiving a violation for operating after hours. However, I would issue her a warning for cooperation for not opening the door, a warning for false statement for lying about the individuals upstairs, and a warning for the locked doors if she agreed to go get the individuals from the upper level and have them exit. The manager agreed and went upstairs. At approximately 10 females came down and exited the establishment. When BPD and BLLC left, the location was left to the manager and 2 employees inside. We left without any further incident.
Okay. Do you have any questions for the chief?
No, I
All right.
don't. Thank
Do you wish to be heard?
I do. Again, it's an admission to the A. They were open well past when they should be open. As to the B, again, there's no evidence that there was service after 1 o'clock here.
Anything else?
No, I'll save everything else for later.
Commissioners have any questions?
No.
Questions?
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents and the proffer from counsel, including an admission of the Rule 4.05 small a violation, I find a violation of Rule 4.05 small a prohibited hours on February 17, 2023. I also find a violation of Rule 4.05 small b prohibited hours on February 17, 2023. I disagree with Mr. Fogelman. I think there's circumstantial evidence from which we can glean that there was service going on there. They have had this license since 2015. They've had prohibited hours violations 3 times already. So I would impose.
Could I just, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I misunderstood you. When you said, do you have anything else? I wanted to talk in mitigation really quickly.
Go ahead.
This has to stop. There's no question that this is a violation. There is a maybe a competitive disadvantage of having a 1 a.m. license in Baltimore, but that is what they have, and those are the rules, and those are the laws. I want to point one thing out as far as their record. If you look at the bottom violation that was done under a previous board, the violation was in December of 14. These licensees didn't come on board till April of 15. However, the circuit court affirmed Judge Ward's liquor board decision on June 18th, 2015, 2 months after the new licensees had come in. So I do think that should not be considered against them, as it's my understanding that was the prior licensees. So that having been said,
But they did violate in 2020.
Exactly. It's their third, not their fourth. All I can tell you is that Mr. Sotelo, licensee, who's standing here, he will be managing on Friday and Saturday nights until close. If you look up these days, this only seems to happen on Friday and Saturday nights, and obviously only occasionally. That said, there is no, there was somebody coming in from Mexico for a family reunion. There's no reason that you can be open. You can take it somewhere else. But you can't do it there. The current manager has been reassigned off of weekend duty. They understand that their record, especially for this charge, is precarious, and there's an escalation of penalties that they are about to face. And they understand that and will modify their behavior. Thank you very much.
As to each of the violations, I'd impose $250 fines to give them 30 days to pay, but I have to tell you, sir, if you come back on prohibited hours again, we're going to suspend your license.
Is that 250?
Yeah.
That's a total of 250.
No, 500. 250 is each.
Okay.
250 each, okay. Based on the charging documents and profit given by the attorney, I find for a violation of 4.05, little a, prohibited hours, on February the 17th, 2023. Also going to impose a fine of $250. Also fined for a violation of Rule 4.05, little b, prohibited hours, February the 17th, 2023. I'm going to impose a fine of $250 for that violation also. It will be a total of $500.
Yes, based on the testimony materials provided today, I agree with the chair's findings. A violation of Rule 4.05A, prohibited hours on February 17th, 2023 of a $250 fine. Also a violation of Rule 4.05B, prohibited hours on February 17th, 2023 of a $250 fine.
Ms. Russell?
I close it for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Investigation Report, Chief Inspector Chris Mouse.
Thank you
Good
very
luck,
much,
sir.
all of you. Have a great day.
That concludes this matter before the board. Licensees are receiving instructions on how to pay the fines imposed by the board and any fees attendant to it. Shall I move forward, Mr. Chair?
Please.
Item number 8 on the violation docket, Rope Walk Incorporated trading as Rope Walk, a Federal Hill Tavern Seafood Company. Premises are located at 1209 South Charles Street. Holders of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license and charged with one violation of the board's rules stemming from an incident on February 24th, 2023, and that is a violation of Rule 3.12, General Welfare.
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky representing the licensee. Let me just be
I apologize. I'm sorry.
a general denial. Be quick. I just have a couple of questions to the inspector.
Okay, have you been sworn? No, you're not. Okay, let's.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, Inspector Washington, do you want to tell us what happened?
Inspector Washington, I responded on February 24th, 2023 at approximately 10:24 p.m. I responded to Rope Walk Tavern. Upon arrival, I stood in the alleyway and heard music and bass well above an acceptable level. At this time, I entered the establishment, asked to speak to a manager. Spoke to the manager, explained to her why I was there. I did a compliance inspection, also issued the violation, and I exited with no other further incident.
Was she cooperative with you?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have questions for us?
Basically, when you got a complaint from who?
It was a 311.
So you don't know who it came from?
I do not.
Have you ever been there before?
Yes.
Yeah, would it be fair to say that I'm looking at the record here that there were 3 or 4 instances where people had called and it was unfounded, the complaints were unfounded?
That's correct.
All right, and my only question that I have is, in one of the reports you mentioned that the appropriate agency to handle this is the health department. Why wasn't the health department involved in this?
I can't speak, the complaint came to the liquor board. I can't speak if the complaint went to the.
I'm looking at your liquor board saying that health department is the appropriate agency. Do you agree or disagree that that's the appropriate agency with regard to sound?
If a complaint is issued to the liquor board, we respond.
Okay, and you say the acceptable level. What is the acceptable level?
Well, when I stood in the alleyway, it was so loud that my tactical vest was vibrating. So I believe that's well above an acceptable level.
You believe that?
Yes,
All right, but did you have anything to measure decibel readings?
I did not.
Okay. And do you know the difference between ambient sound and regular sound?
I do not.
Do you know that there are watches now that will tell you about the volume of sound?
You can have one of the Apple Watches to tell you something at your front door, your back door, somebody's out with your wife. I
don't want to know that one, but
Well, it gives me some relief,
I have
you
one
know,
of
it
those
gives me
watches.
some relief.
Anyway, anything further?
Yeah, nothing further, but I'm looking through your record. It looks like there's somebody there's constantly complaining, and 3 or 4 times your inspectors were there. I don't know what the acceptable level is. They're on a main drag there. I just sort of submitted at that point. I don't think they have I look at their record. They've been there 28 years. A few things they have us from many years ago.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
None.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, testimony received, the arguments of counsel, I find a violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare on February 24, 2023. On the basis of the record, I'd impose a $100 fine and give her 30 days to pay.
Based on the charging documents, I find a violation for Rule 3.12, general welfare on February the 24th, 2023. As a result of that action, I impose a fine of $100.
Yes, based on the testimony and materials provided today, I agree with the chair's findings. A violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare on February 24th, 2023, with a fine of $100.
Ms. Russell?
Might call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Investigation Report, Inspector Washington.
Thank you. Thank you. Good luck.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council's received instructions on how to pay the fines imposed by the board and any fees attendant with it. Shall we move forward, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Item number 9 on the violations docket, Pat Chase Private Clubhouse Incorporated, trading as Pat Chase. Premises are located at 1101 North Patterson Park Avenue, holders of a Class C beer, wine, and liquor license, and are charged with one violation of the board's rules, and that is a violation of Rule 4.20D, prohibitive activities by license type. Class C licenses may not be open to the general public, stemming from one incident on February the 10th, 2023.
Hi. You are Mr. Woods, sir?
Yes, Angelo Woods.
Would you raise your right hand, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And have you been sworn?
No, I haven't.
Would you raise your hand? I'm sorry, what are the...
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Mr. Woods, did you want to admit or deny this violation?
I wanted to deny the violation.
Okay, let's hear from the inspector then.
Yes.
Good morning, Inspector Jordan. On February 10th, 2023, at approximately 9:50 p.m., we responded to Pat Chase with the Social Club Task Force. We conducted a inspection of their business records and the premises. They were unable to produce a trader's license, health permit, or records of purchase of alcoholic beverages. The establishment was open to the general public and failed to present a daily sign-in sheet or a membership log. It should be noted that this was a follow-up to a November 4th, 2022 inspection, where I issued a warning where they were unable to produce the same documents. An inspection of the premises also found the establishment did not have hot water or a 3-compartment sink. I spoke to Mr. Carlos Moultrie and presented him with the violation. The establishment was also issued a violation by the fire and health department. and we left without any issues.
Mr. Woods, do you want to ask questions of the inspector?
Yes, you said it was a violation from the fire department and the health department, right?
Yes.
What was the violation from the fire department?
I don't know exactly. We go to a lot of establishments on Friday nights, so I couldn't tell you exactly.
And I can state just for clarity, I know it may be confusing. The only thing you're being charged with today is failure to be operating as a Class C club license, which requires you to have membership logs and not be open to the general public. So that's the only thing you're being charged for today. It was referenced in passing in the inspector's report, but if she doesn't know, that's on me for including that in there and confusing things.
Thank you for clearing that up for me.
Were you fined by them? Did either of the other departments fine you?
The health department, they came in and that was rectified.
Did they charge you something?
Yeah, I had to pay it, I had to pay the fee, the renewal fee, and write a letter to the person in charge down there.
Okay. Do you understand the rules and regulations about your license?
Yes, what he's referring to is the sign-in book. There was a sign-in book, it got forwarded and just, I guess, lack of knowledge, it wasn't replaced at the time.
Okay. So the inspector was out in November and then came back in February, and it still hadn't been remedied. So if you want to keep operating, you're going to have to get it straightened out.
I have a book right there in my back, brand new purchase, been being used.
Okay. I mean, Mr. Woods, you've had this license since 2012. You've never had a violation before, so I have to assume that you want to do it properly. So,
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, sir, that's it.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No question.
All right, on the basis of the materials containing the charging documents, the testimony received, I find a violation of Rule 4.20 small d, prohibited activities by license type Class C licensees on February 10, 2023. I'd impose a $100 fine and give him 30 days to pay.
Based on the charging documents, testimony given today, I also find for violation of Rule 4.20 little d, prohibited activities by a license type, and assess a fine of $100.
Yes, based on the testimony materials provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings, a violation of Rule 4.20D, prohibited activities by license type Class C license, and with a fine of $100.
Ms. Russell?
Mike Joseph, for the record, Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Inspector Jordan.
Okay, Mr. Woods, thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Licensee has received instructions on how to pay the fine imposed by the board today and any fees that are attendant with it. Is anyone here from Epic Lounge Bar Cut Rate LLC? Larry, you're going to stand? Mr. Chair, how did you want to proceed to postpone that to a future?
Yes, let's postpone it because, I mean, they say they want this extension, but
Okay. Then item number 1 on the regular items, Epic Lounge Bar Cut Rate LLC, trading as Epic Lounge Bar and Cut Rate, 2711 East Fayette Street, shall be postponed to a future hearing of the board. In that case, Your Honor, I'll read the adjournment. The Board of Liquor License Commissioners shall stand in recess until Thursday, April 27th, 2023 at 10 a.m. for protest of renewal docket here in Room 215, City Hall, 100 North Holiday Street.
as always, thank you to the commissioners and the board and all the staff members, the inspectors, and everybody for a great job. We'll see you in 2 weeks, and gird your loins.